Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos, Shabbos Kodesh.
Chevra, everybody get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Come on, let's go.
We want to welcome you to the first leg of Craig and my farewell tour. We'll be in 16 cities doing final Friday Night Lives. And we hope that you follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. It is a beautiful and a wonderful thing to be able to celebrate together with you. Some of you, as we'll speak about in a little while, were here when we first started this service. Some of you have actually attended other services here at Sinai Temple from time to time. But of course, for many of us, Friday Night Live does hold a special place in our hearts, and we are not only delighted that you're here to celebrate with us, but we hope you will be here for many, many Shabbatot to come to celebrate with those who will be continuing Friday Night Live. And again, we'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. But the purpose of the service is to celebrate the Shabbat. And the beautiful thing about the Jewish tradition and Shabbat is that we understand from our inception that intangible things, things you can't see, things you can't touch, things that you can just feel, those are the ultimate realities of the world. Love, truth, God, Shabbat. So we are going to welcome the Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem on page 23 in your prayer books. Please rise. Shalom Aleichem.
הקדוש ברוך הוא
בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום
לשלום, צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום.
Romamu means to rise, to raise up. Let's do it slow, let's do it fast. Let's do it any way that feels right. When you're ready to rise to the occasion, let's do it.
So I'm not going to say this every time I make a comment, but for the last time, I want to say this. Because almost every Friday Night Live, I've had the same powerful impulse, which is to lament the fact that we live in an artificially constructed world so that we don't have the sky above us, our lives are lit by electric light, and we have to recreate to get the religious experience what it was for our ancestors to live in the world. And Lecha Dodi, which is the song we are about to sing, the Kabbalistic hymn, was written in the 16th century in Tzfat by a man named Shlomo Alkabetz, whose grave you can still visit more than 500 years later. And Alkabetz wrote it so that when the sun would set, the mystics of Tzfat in their white dress would walk out over the hills and sing this song. To the extent that it is possible, I want you to imagine that you're out in the world as God created it and not as the architect designed it. That you're seeing the sun setting, that you're feeling the breeze on your face, that the presence of Shabbat is the presence of the beauty of the natural world, the night coming on, the day of rest, a time of peace. Page 42, Lecha Dodi.
וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולכילה לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולמי שבת, ולקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולמי שבת, ולקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם בצוחה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולמי שבת, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולמי שבת,
מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה, וכו יחמל לך מציצה, לך דודי, לך דודי, What if in those doors that you came through those doors that you came in, what if you met your Beshert? What if you stood up right now and turned to the back and saw him or her or it or them? What if you stood up right now and faced towards that entrance? Excuse me, ma'am, but do you work here?
First of all, I'm profoundly grateful to be included in this moment. Anyone want to help with that? I could tell just by looking at your faces when you heard the, let's call it the original Lecha Dodi, that when you hear a particular prayer or song, memories flood your brain, memories touch your heart. A song has the potential to do that. A prayer has the potential to touch our soul. And for me, that's Yedi Nefesh. And so Craig knew what he was doing when he asked me to speak a little bit about why this prayer really touches me every time I hear its chords played and sung on Friday Night Live. You see, when I first came to Friday Night Live, I was a sophomore at UCLA. Believe it or not, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was a 5th grade religious school teacher here at Sinai Temple. But it didn't really start till a few years later. Memory number 1. A few years later, a bunch of us would drive an hour from Laguna Hills up to Los Angeles. My parents, our friends, and we called ourselves the Friday Night Live Orange County Groupies. And I think there's a few others, right? A few others Orange County groupies here. But we would come month after month after month, hoping Craig would remember our name, and he did by the 6th or 7th time. But we would come, and when we would hear Yedi Nefesh, it didn't matter that there was all this traffic on the 405, and it didn't matter how many fights we got in along the way. The fact is that we were sitting here, and Shabbat begun. Yidi Nefesh would settle our souls and remind us that there was something much, much more important than whatever argument happened last week. We were sitting with family, and we were sitting with friends, and we were building community. Fast forward to January 2nd, 2010, Craig gave us the greatest gift, and I had the chance to walk down this very aisle at my wedding, and Craig stood and played Yidi Nefesh. And as I walked down the aisle, I saw my husband standing under the chuppah. Yidi Nefesh is often known as, if you will, the first dance between God and Israel. It's a declaration of our love. So when I hear Yidi Nefesh at Friday Night Live, what do I think about? I think about the family that surrounds me, whether they are far or near. I think about the love between two souls. And I realize the importance of telling the people that are most dear to you in this world that you care for them. And you take that moment now. You don't wait. That's Yidi Nefesh. It's our love story. Page 25.
I wrote every word that she said. Nicole, you have been my soulmate, so I sing this for you. Yedid nefesh avarachaman avarachaman Mishoch avdecha el ritzonecha el ritzonecha Yedid nefesh avarachaman avarachaman Mishoch avdecha el ritzonecha el ritzonecha Yarutz avdecha Kemo aya yishtachave el muladarecha Eretz
Please rise for the Baruch Hu, page 59.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי
Page 64, the Shema.
Listen, Israel,
We're about to sing Mi Chamocha, which is the song that the Israelites sang as they crossed the sea. And we think of that as an astonishing and wonderful miracle. But really, if you're God and you created the universe and the cosmos, it's not such a big deal to split a sea. It's amazing that we think it's so amazing. You make black holes, a sea is child's play. But here's the miracle. It's 2,500 years later. All of history has happened, all its triumphs and all its terrible and awful destruction and tragedy and pain, and we are still singing, thousands of years later, in a different land, speaking a different language, the same words. That's a miracle. So you see, the miracles are in our hands. And if we remember, and if we sing, then the sea splits over and over and over and over again. How wonderful and astonishing it is that just as the Israelites, we sing in freedom. Mi Chamocha, page 69.
I turn the mic up, I turn the mic up, I turn the mic up, I turn the mic up. A shout out to my Jewish people in the place to be. They say that freedom, a thing that is not free. I cross the river for the hit when I'm spitting in style. Never in denial while we crossing the Nile River. A nice killer representing what I sing fame. We all wondering like what's the score to King's game. But I ain't insane, represent the world buck. We all unify with unity like World Cup. And you can understand I rock the dome. This Friday night all around the world, Shabbat Shalom. All my people here, all my people please. And we spit the under middle like the Red Sea. If we walk to the brother side, Ashkenazi. My Persian people walk around in a posse. Homie, right here, if you ready to rock, please. Hands in the air, Shabbat, and we go party like. With the rap and the rap, Moses came down from the spot with the staff. Represent nice with my wordplay. That's that Simchat Torah all day. I got a nice with a nice in the floated dough, and I study till 8 in the morning. Shavuot, it's hard to the core. My grandma represent the country when she came through on Yom Kippur. At the 6th day, 7 in the 1948. Other people right here across the Israel state. Nice in the mood of my yes, I'm confused and type. The Jewish rapper dressed in blue and white. Represent here and I say astounded. Shout out to my boy right there, Craig Talman. Everybody make some noise. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Shalom Ani Ram. Anashim Chavarim, don't drop the bomb. Whether it's Torah, Bible, or Quran, everybody unified for the flow we sitting on. I rhyme so great when I find my state in my mind state when I'm in United States. Feel that real, represent high tide, sipping my tie when I'm at Temple Sinai. Represent ill, never spit a dumb flow. Freedom ain't free, even in the front row. Everybody feel it right there, all right. I want you to free yourself, to put your hands in the air now, scream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. One time now. Everybody, anybody, now scream.
Shabbat shalom.
One time.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Let me hear it now. Real loud, real loud. Let me hear it now. Hey, hey. 2, 3, go. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Peace out, yo.
Kosher dills, kosher dills.
Craig, you've honored me so many times in asking me to come to Friday Night Live and share poetry. And I know, having talked with you many times about this, that one of your favorite things is when the poem only takes up one side of a page. I had to use a really small font, but I did it this time. Thank you for having me here. This is for Rabbi Wolpe, for Craig Taubman, for the entire Friday Night Live community, for everyone here, and for everyone not here, which I guess is everyone. The end of an era. When I first came to Friday Night Live, I didn't know that I'd ever been to a Jewish room so big. It was like they took the entire outside, put up walls on the very edges, added comfortable seating, and painted the sky to look like a ceiling. I remember the first sign I saw before I entered: no cell phones. I wasn't sure if this was a statement against their very existence, as if cell phones somehow represented hatred of Jews. Or if just I wasn't allowed to bring one into the room. In either case, it was 19-something or other, and back then I couldn't afford to make a local toll call, let alone own a cell phone. So I confidently walked into the room knowing it wouldn't be a problem. I didn't think that line was very funny, but great. I remember the rabbi. I'd known his wisdom from years before when he stood in front of a room full of eager undergraduates and wrote the entire first paragraph of the book Lolita on the board from memory, just to make a point about how people remember things. I'll be lucky if I remember how to get home tonight. But I remember that. This was a rabbi I wanted to learn more from. I remember the singer, a man with such incredible spontaneity, his band told him, "You never do the same thing once." Thank you guys for that line. A man whose simple melodies you fell in love with the first time you heard them. A man who, if you happen to be in the room tonight, and you are, with no forewarning, might pull you up out of the congregation to tell your entire life story. Be careful when you walk into this room, because when you do, you become part of its story. Your voices, not acceptable when too quiet, become the choir. We are the holy cabal, and this too must pass. The baton at least, on to the next. The old will become new, and everything remains holy if you're willing to look close enough. The impact has been made. What happens in this room has been scientifically duplicated in rooms of all sizes all over the world. This has been the litmus test, and we have passed. The rabbi, the singer, will be missed, but their voices and words not forgotten. And in 100,000 years, when the archaeologists of the future are dusting off the remains of West Los Angeles, a small crack in the rubble will open up, and a trapped melody will force its way up into their ears. Ah-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Thank you, especially since you didn't come to rehearsal. They'll smile and nod to each other because this has always been one of their favorite melodies. This is the endurance of this. We are but borrowing this dust from the earth. We will inevitably exchange it for our wristband to the next big after party in the sky. You can get in even if you're not ages 21 to 39. But how we filled this space remains. The music never silenced, the wisdom perpetual. Friday Night Live, the story goes on.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים
Shalom, 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 shalom.
Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashivenu Adonai.
we stay standing, we move into that private moment, that chance for each of us to look inside ourselves. Ask us the question, what is our prayer? What is our soul? What is our heart? What do we want to share with the one that is most high? Page 79 to 90.
You know, really, with the clinking? Honestly, I don't sing while you're singing. So I started out at this synagogue actually also in special projects. Not like this one. This, as I said at the beginning, those of you who are here, this is our farewell tour. We'll be doing this in several cities before we finish with Friday Night Live. Next week, Oakland. I used to do high holiday services here on the 4th floor in the gymnasium. A few of you were there back then. I wouldn't be proud of it, but yeah. And I was just thinking about that today when I came here. I remember my most horrifying moment was there used to be a hotel called the Del Capri. Some of you may remember. That's where I used to stay, at the Del Capri. And one time when I went, I stayed there, and I didn't live anywhere nearby, and I didn't have a car, and I was a student from the East Coast at the time, and I realized that I had brought everything, and it was right before Yom Kippur, except for socks. And I thought, how do you appear as the rabbi on Yom Kippur with no socks? And I'm offering you this because I should leave you with some practical wisdom. I asked them if there was anything in the lost and found in the laundry. And so I did one of my first Yom Kippurs here in borrowed socks, which always seemed to me something of a metaphor, but I don't know exactly for what. Over the years, we've had some remarkable people here. We've had people that most of you probably don't remember being at Friday Night Live because it was in the early years when Ryan Seacrest came by and spoke to us. We've had Harold Kushner and Elie Wiesel and Rick Warren and David Gregory and Kirk Douglas and lots of wonderful people. But I want to tell you a story about Wiesel because it too is important and should be known. When Elie Wiesel came to Friday Night Live, and remember that he grew up and practices as an Orthodox Jew. First of all, I remember the look on his face when the instrumentation started. He was surprised. And then he leaned over to me and said something that shocked me and concerned me. He said, "You know, I've never spoken in a microphone on Shabbat in my life." Yeah, that's what I said too. I thought, here he is, the most revered living Jew, telling me that I'm forcing him to break his ritual practice. So I said, because I thought he's part of an interpretive tradition and he'll figure it out. I should have asked him about the socks, but he got up and he spoke into the microphone. And then I walked him home, back to his hotel, and I said to him, "If it's not too much to ask, can you tell me why did you do that?" And he said, "Because not to speak into the microphone would embarrass the Jews who were in front of me. Speaking into the microphone is between me and God." Never forgot that. I thought many times about what I was going to say tonight, but I never got very far, to tell you the truth, because I figured I would start, first of all, by recalling a couple of people who made it possible, whom you may not know. Some of you do, but many of you don't. When we first started out, I remember I went to two couples, Ruth and Sid Pilot, and Rose and Alex Farkas. Rose and Ruth are still with us. Alex and Sid, alas, are not. But they both funded the startup, so to speak, and then Hetty and Ted Orden, because this is the Orden Friday Night Live, ensured that it would last in perpetuity. So to those people who believed in it and who funded it and who made it possible, I think it's really important that together as a kahal, we say thank you. And then, before I get to two quick stories with which I want to end, I want to say something about Craig. As you have discovered, we kid each other a great deal, and you might think that that means that there's friction in our relationship. But in fact, there is friction in our relationship. But I'll tell you the kind of friction it is. Craig always talks about the fact that the reason this has worked over all these years is because we trust each other. And on one level, that's completely true. We trust each other. We know that the other one will pick up, will help, will so on. But we also have what I have come to think of as a creative mistrust. And I'll tell you what that means. It's okay, because he's not listening back there. Craig and I look at the world in different ways. And we try to convince each other of the other one's vision. So he'll say, let's try this, and I'll say, no, that's a terrible idea. And he'll say, just think about it. And I'll think about it, and I'll write back and say, I've thought about it, it's a terrible idea. And he'll give me 20 reasons why, and I'll say, all right, we'll try it once. And then, as often as not, it works brilliantly. That kind of creative mistrust has been fantastic because we've learned from each other and grown with each other and opened each other's eyes and souls to different ways of looking at the world. And if all we did was trust each other, it wouldn't be nearly as good. And I say this to you because everybody in their life has all sorts of partnerships and everybody always talks about trust. But I want you to know that this sort of friction, this sort of, I don't really trust your judgment in this and I think you're wrong, but I trust you as a whole, so I'll give you a little leeway. It's a really good thing. And Friday Night Live is largely a result of that. Remember, at first, those of you who know the story, Craig wanted to make this a children's service because he was working with Disney at the time. And I said, it can't be, it's got to be adult. And he was willing, through his mistrust, to trust me. And then he said, I want to write all new music. And I said, no, you don't want to write all. We have music, we're Jews, we've got music. And he said, no, we don't have the right music. And then he wrote the soundtrack to my life over the past 17 years, and to many of yours, and to many synagogues and Jews throughout the world. Go ahead. So here are the two stories that I want to tell you. One about why this will be mine and Craig's last Friday Night Live, even though, just let me be clear, all these people ask me, oh, I didn't know you were retiring. I'm not retiring. I'm still at Sinai Temple all the time, except for during Friday Night Live. And it's because of something that I told the Atid class last night. I just taught it last night, and as I was teaching it, I thought, this is what I want to say tomorrow night. So thank you, those of you who came, and here it is again. You know the story of Jacob and Esau, that when Esau has the birthright stolen, he wants to kill his brother, but he says, I'm not going to kill you until our father dies, and Jacob runs away, and 20 years later, Esau, who is Jacob's fraternal twin, right? They look different. We know Esau is hairy and Jacob is smooth, but they're twins. 20 years later, he comes to Jacob with 400 men, and the assumption is he's going to kill him. But in fact, what happens is after Jacob bows down to him and offers him gifts and so on, Esau sweeps aside the gifts and falls on Jacob's neck and begins to weep. And all the rabbis have many explanations for why it is that in the end, instead of killing him, Esau weeps with him. But the most beautiful explanation, and I'm not saying this for reasons of nepotism, but it's true, is the one that originated actually with my late father, who was a rabbi in Philadelphia. His explanation was, in the ancient world, people almost never saw themselves. There were very few mirrors in the ancient world. It was very expensive to have polished glass, and most people went years without seeing themselves unless they happened to see themselves in a pond, which is, as you know, if you look in water, a very poor reflection. And so, unlike us, we're very familiar with our own faces. For most of human history, most human beings didn't really know day to day what they looked like, which was probably a blessing. So Esau comes and he sees Jacob. And remember that even though Jacob was not identical, he was his twin. The exact same age, just for a few minutes lapse. And he looks and he sees how old Jacob has become. And he knows how old he has become. And he thinks of all the wasted years of hatred. And he falls on his brother's neck and he weeps. One of the things that you realize as you see people at sometimes very irregular intervals as their lives grow, the way that Dale spoke about where his children were when Friday Night Live started and where they are now, is it's been a long time. It's been a long time, and I see it in different ways in the faces of people who were little children when we started this and now are in college or graduated college. I see it in the people who started this out with me and are now in a very different place in their lives from where they were at the beginning. And I realized that it's really important to give other people that chance, because it's not a sad thing. It's a beautiful thing, a wonderful thing, a precious thing, because unlike Esau and Jacob, I look back not on years of emptiness and hatred, but on years of prayer and learning and community and closeness. And so I realized that for me, this actually isn't a sad moment at all, because it's not about what I'm leaving, it's about everything that I had and have, and all the things that this service brought into my life. The second story I want to tell is also a story that in a way concerns my father, but also seems to me to be particularly poignant at this moment. When the State of Israel was founded in 1948, nobody knew what the UN vote was going to be. They hoped, but they didn't know. And people were counting the votes over and over and over and over again, and they didn't know if it would be successful or not. As we now know, polls are not very reliable. Just ask the cantor. And not the one here. And my father and all of his rabbinical school friends were waiting outside Madison Square Garden, where there was going to be the big rally for the declaration of the State of Israel, and they stayed there overnight to get good seats. These days it would be a concert. Then it was actually the founding of the State of Israel. It's been a little bit of decline in the value of generations, but they were there towards the front of the line with a very old man, and they were all worried about him because there were thousands of people, and they knew when the doors were open, everybody was going to rush the stage. So the door opened, and my father said, they all ran in, he and all of his friends, they ran into the front, and they sat down, and they looked behind them, and there was the old man. And he couldn't believe it. And he said to him, "How'd you get here? We were so worried about you." And he said, "I never forgot what he told me." He said, "I got here because I wasn't running alone." He was a survivor. And everybody that had gone before him who wasn't there anymore was running with him. One of the things that you feel if you do anything for any length of time in the Jewish tradition is you're not running alone. There are so many, living and gone, who are running with you, praying with you, offering the same kind of soul hope to you that you hope to be a vehicle to offer to others. I have felt that over and over and over again. It's the essence of Uplift, is to know that it isn't you alone. It's the community, both horizontal and vertical. That is, the ones who came before and the ones who sit here. All of you together. And then, lastly, there is faith. To me, the most poignant line in some ways in all of the prayers is unfortunately buried at the very end, so people don't always hear it. Craig has written a tune for it that I don't know about you, but I sing to myself all the time. The song itself is Biyado Afkid Ruchi, Bi'et Ishan V'Aira, V'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai Li V'Lo Ira. It's the end of the Adon Olam. What it means in English is, in his hand, I commend my spirit when I sleep and when I wake. And should my soul pass away, God is with me and I will not fear. It is that certainty that what we do is larger than ourselves, greater than ourselves, that it comes from before us and goes on after us, that animates everything that moves our tradition forward. And to the extent that you have felt a little bit of that yad, of that hand, over these past 16 to 17 years, to that extent, we have sung the right song, we've prayed the right prayers and said the right words. And God willing, those who are coming after us will do the same. Biyado.
My soul I give to you. My spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. I am safely in your hand. Let's do it. Biyado. בעת תשען ועירה.
Are we doing, is this the Aleinu? Hold it, wait, tell this story. This story, we actually have a story. We actually have a story for the Aleinu. This is what happened.
This is a great story.
It was at one of the Gospel Friday Night Lives, wasn't it?
It was Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, right, we don't call it the Gospel Friday Night. Jews don't do it, right, exactly. It was one of the Martin Luther King Friday Night Lives, and the choir had just rocked the house. I mean, amazing. And then I said, okay, now we do out.
Whoa. In the text that they rocked the house what was the text?
Biyado.
The
The text was, rise up, people, and God is great. And rise up, people, and God is great. And rise up and...
Yeah, I was going to say that.
David says, please turn to page 270.
For Aleinu, and everybody gets up and goes, Aleinu Lishabea. And I thought, and I turned to Craig and I said, you gotta write us a new Aleinu. You have to. You have to. And guess what? Listen to this one. Please rise.
Rise up, people. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What's about this? I'm rapping before on stage and I came up with a new outfit like ain't no represent. I used to flow so corny. We got people born in the 80s, 70s, 60s, even the 40s in the house. If you feeling down, stop and you stare. If you love Craig Talman right now, put your hands in the air. We've been as Reverend Lee Fears getting these beers, but he been doing this thing for like 17
Bayom Hahu Yihye Adonai Echad Ushemo Echad.
I'd just like to ask only those who are in mourning or observing a yortzeit to remain standing for the mourner's Kaddish, which you will find in the Siddur on page 100. Page 100 for the mourner's Kaddish, concluding on page 101. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam oomei omaya Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit adar v'yit aleh v'yit alal shemei dekudesha le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. May God grant comfort and healing to the hearts of all who mourn. And let us all say, Amen. Before I ask Craig to introduce the band, and then there is a presentation before we close, there's one thing that I don't want to forget to say tonight, which is that I really feel extraordinarily lucky to have landed in such a remarkable synagogue. Because if it weren't that Sinai Temple is Sinai Temple, we never could have done this. There was nothing like it anywhere. And even the services that were somewhat musical weren't musical like this before Friday night started. And in a lot of synagogues, especially a lot of big established synagogues, the first thing that people would say to something that was so different is no. And no one said no. And I really want to say, for many, many, many reasons, but certainly for this, I want to say how grateful I am to Sinai and to the leadership, to the lay leadership, and to the institution. It is a wonderful place, and I hope that not only during Friday Night Live that you will come back here again and again and discover what I've discovered repeatedly throughout all the years that I've been here. And now, in addition to Cantor Feldman, a couple of the people, the extraordinarily talented and wonderful people who will be starting a new Friday Night Live come this September. Here they are, Rabbi Jason Fruithandler, Rabbi Nicole Guzik. Oh, and Rabbi Erez Sherman. There they are. All of them are here.
Okay, great. So, I don't know if you can imagine what it's like being told, okay, you guys are going to take over Friday Night Live. It's a little absurd to even imagine. And we know that in literally every way, we stand right now on hallowed ground. So we wanted to think of what is it that we can give you as a way of acknowledging everything that you've given and the enormous charge you've given us, and the understanding that we want to take that on, that we take that very seriously, and we want so much to do even a quarter of the amazing work. Where did Craig go? There you are. Amazing work that you guys have done. And so we picked stools because these both in many ways represent Friday Night Live, but more than that, they represent the challenge of Friday Night Live, which is... I'm just explaining to Craig. Oh, okay. Which is to say that you can take nothing for granted. Not the place you sit, not the room you're in, the air you breathe. Everything has the possibility of changing just a little and making everything more meaningful. So we had some engraved. The first one goes to Ted and Hetty Orden, who couldn't be here right now, but without, as we heard before, without their willingness to devote their resources, this would be a great idea that Craig and Rabbi Wolpe were talking about over lunch one day. Without their commitment, this would never have existed. So thank you very much, Ted and Hetty Orden.
Judy Flesh, their daughter. They left that back. Here, I'll take that.
Okay. Let me get it.
It's hard to speak to the master of all words. But as many of you know, in the ancient lighting of the menorah in the temple, the mitzvah, the commandment, wasn't complete unless the flame existed on its own. Rabbi Wolpe, you've planted a spark in every person that's sitting here right now. And you know you've planted a spark in the countless number of people who listen to your words, who understand the meaning behind Friday Night Live. And when there was a hunger and thirst in this Jewish community for something to grow the spirituality that was so desperately needed, you said, let's do it. And you and Craig did it together. And so, as Rabbi Fruithandler eloquently said, we do not take this for granted. We'll take that spark. We hope to let it grow and thrive and be bright. But it was your flame that started it all.
And of course, last but not least, Craig, come on up. Craig.
He said no bathroom jokes. I just got a sample of a stool.
I don't do any jokes, it's okay.
Oh, that's terrible. Don't do that.
Craig, on behalf of all of us here at Friday Night Live in Sinai Temple who are going to take this on to the next step, we have nothing but the utmost gratitude and thanks to say everything that you have given to this community, not just the community here at Friday Night Live, but also all of the children in our halls who are singing na 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 or Be'ado or any of the other beautiful melodies. And also, I grew up with your music, not even here at Sinai, all the way through and all across the United States and all across the world. You have truly changed and reimagined the fabric of Jewish music. And we have nothing but gratitude and thanks for everything that you have done. And we present to you, not a sample, but the full stool.
Okay. And of course, the party doesn't end here. After the music is done, we have about 6 minutes left for the parlor. In the back, we're going to have Israeli dancing in the Congregational Kiddush and an Elikon. And Elikon in Barat Hall, and all the way back there will be the parlor for Atid. We're so grateful again. We're excited. Craig's picking up the guitar. That means we got some more music.
Everybody move it to the middle. Move it to the middle. Move up to the front. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm Yisrael.
It's still the lion. שם בג'ונגל, בתוך הג'ונגל, ישן לו.
את השם בשמחה בו לפנה ברננה na 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 את השם בשמחה בוא לפניו ברננה יא נה 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 יא נה 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 יא נה 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 יא נה 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 יא נה 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 יא השם בשמחה בוא לפניו ברננה na 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 ya na 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 ya na na יבדו את השם בשמחה בוא לפניו ברננה יבדו את השם בשמחה בוא לפניו השם בשמחה בוא לפניו